Hi, my name is Robert. This video is designed to give you step-by-step detailed instructions on completing the task at hand. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. In this video, I'm going to be pulling a dual cam cylinder head from a Volvo 940. These are somewhat rare and a lot of people want them. I'm going to start out by removing this fan housing, getting rid of some of this, I guess this may be rodent bedding. Take the cover off of the front, take these two screws out here, take that cover off, get the valve cover off, take the timing belt off, and just go from there. So let me remove this, however that's attached, and keep going from there. On these cars, to get the access from the hood, you pull the hood down a little bit and you turn these on both sides and you can lift the hood straight up. Now you have a little bit more access. I got a lot of this bedding taken out. I'm actually going to start out by removing the grill, set that aside, take this front piece off, set that aside, then take this radiator support off, take that aside, and then take this off. Here, the grill, you just squeeze in these two tabs and pull these two clips out. Let me get them out and take two hands. Squeeze those clips with pliers, lifted the grill out. I got this piece off of here, just a little quarter turn on that thing, lifted that out. I got these two radiator braces off, 10 millimeter, got that out. Now I'm gonna take these, look like 12 millimeters out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nut there, and then lift this off, which should give me easy access to getting the radiator out. I'll disconnect the hoses from the radiator, disconnect the transmission line from the radiator. Should be able to lift the radiator out from in front of that fan, and I'm gonna unplug the fan shroud. Looks like it's got 2 screws here. If they're not too rusted, get those out and pull all that stuff out of the top. I took 2 T30s out of here, the 2 10s off the front, 8 millimeter off the back of this. Now this did lift up because those T30s are holding the fan in. So now I'm gonna try to unscrew those 2 screws and undo the hoses and stuff from the radiator, get that out of the way. I want to get that belt cover, that's the goal. I disconnected the upper and lower radiator hoses, disconnected the upper and lower transmission lines, disconnected the reservoir fill line, and I lifted the radiator up and out of the car. Full of coolant, so wasn't leaking. This top front cover is on by 2 screws and 2 bolts. Got a T25 there, T25 here, a 10 millimeter there, and a 10 millimeter down there. So as soon as I get this out, that top front cover will come off. I got the cover off. As you can see, the belt is still intact, in good shape. Now I'm gonna take that spark plug cover thing off, the valve cover off, and then get these cams out. I took the cover off. It was hard getting those Phillips screws out. I had to actually put an adjustable jaw on the handle of my Phillips screwdriver to get those screws out. I took the 15 acorn nuts off around it. I broke the seal of it right here with this pry bar right here. So now I'm gonna work this up and off of the head. I guess this oil cap didn't really fit on this one. Lifted that cover off. So it did look like you got a couple 12 millimeter nuts on this heat shield here. Got the heat shield off, 4 12 millimeter bolts. Gonna have to take these cam sprockets off to get the cover off. So they look like 14s. So I'm gonna leave the belt on. Hopefully they'll be strong enough to hold the cam still while I get those two sprockets off so I can get this cover off. I gotta get the rest of these timing parts off of here. Need this inner top cover. Next, you wanna break the bolts loose from the cams. This is an interference engine, so you need this timing to be held. There's tension on the belt, and I use my impact gun to knock those two 14s off. Then you can take the belt loose, take the cam sprockets off, and work on getting that top inner cover off. Got the tensioner off, the hydraulic tensioner, a 12mm and a 14mm bolt. Now this belt should be loose enough to get off the cams. If not, just massage it a little bit and it'll get loose enough where you could lift it off the cams. Looking at the cylinder head, I do not see a way to get the head bolts out without taking this head apart. This head has a seam right here, may have a gasket there, so I'm gonna have to take these bolts out right here and split this head. It looks like I only see those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts holding this head together. I took the other 10 bolts off on the outer edge of that head, those cams, and that head did separate. I'm gonna try to lift the top half of this head off of here. Then I'll have these exhaust manifold parts, intake manifold parts to take off. Then I should be able to get that head off. Seems like something is holding on to it on the back side of it, so it's probably got a screw or something down on the back side of it. Doesn't look like nothing is holding on to that bottom half of it, so I'm gonna pull the wires off of it and try to lift it out with the distributor on it. Move this wire harness out of the way. Took a couple of the clips loose so I can move the wire harness up a little bit and lifted the top half of the cylinder head off, and to my surprise, all of the lifters fell down into the head. So good thing is they're hydraulic lifters. I got these at home extra, so wouldn't be no problem. But I do want to find the one that's here, so I'll look under here after I get this head off. Now I'm going to take this exhaust manifold off, 13mm bolts. Take the intake manifold off, and then these bolts should be 14mm. Break those head bolts loose and lift this cylinder head off, leaving the spark plugs in it. I took 9 exhaust manifold bolts off, 5 up top, 4 underneath, 1 kind of hidden back here. Doesn't feel loose, so I'm not sure if that's all I got to do or not. Now I'm going to take this intake manifold off. I got a few bolts across the top here, and I'll figure out what else I got going on to get this intake manifold off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across the top, look like 12s, and I'll figure out what else going on. I see 1, 2, 3 underneath, maybe 4. I got 5 bolts out of the top of the intake manifold. I had to take the thermostat housing out so that I could reach under there and take the 4 bolts on the underside loose. The third one back I had to take out because it had a ground wire hooked on it. So I pulled the injectors loose. I'm gonna pull this vacuum hose loose right here, and I should be able to shift this intake manifold up and away from the head. I was able to push that off, lift this intake manifold off the head. I reached under there and unplugged the temp sensor, and I unplugged that other sensor under there. Now the only thing I should have to do is remove probably 10 cylinder head bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10. So I'm gonna crack them loose first with my breaker bar like I should, and then I'm gonna rip them out and should be able to pop this head loose. Not sure what's going on with this exhaust. I might have to lift the head up toward the intake manifold to get it off this exhaust manifold, because this exhaust manifold don't seem to be budging. It's probably bolted to the block. I got all these head bolts out. The 5 across the bottom were long. The 2 across the top on the ends were long. The 3 center ones are short. I see a water hose there. I'm going to take that loose, get that off, and I should be able to break this head loose and lift it up out of here. And then I can get out of this heat. So that's the goal. I don't know if there's anything on the back. I don't see anything. I don't know if that's connected to the block or what, but I know that one there is connected to the head. So let me get that loose and try to pry this head up. Tried to lift this head off a couple of times. It had a hard time coming loose from the exhaust manifold, but it finally did, and now the exhaust manifold's loose and the head is loose. So I'm gonna lift the head out, set the pieces together, and get out of here. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.